Kevin Hart stepping down as Oscar host. Just the Variety article here says just 48 hours. This was posted Thursday. Just 48 hours after agreeing to host the 91st Academy Awards, Kevin Hart unceremoniously stepped down late Thursday night on social media. The turn of events followed outcry over previous anti-gay tweets and comments Hart made during stand-up routines nearly 10 years ago. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it just the turn of events. It was so quick.
Yep.
I remember
Yep.
hearing he was announced. I'm like, okay. Then what is it? 2 days later, 48 hours. All of
Yep.
a sudden,
Yep.
he's just done. I mean, it's definitely
It's true.
it's a weird situation. I mean, the fact. So pretty much what happened, for those of you who don't know, in terms of the way what happened after these tweets surfaced or were
Yeah.
dug up, actually. He pretty much said he's not going to apologize. He's apologized before,
Yeah.
and then he ends up. So then he steps down, and then he pretty much apologizes. It's
Yeah,
almost
that was
it's almost like
interesting. Yeah.
what it seemed like to me was, okay. He doesn't want to he doesn't want to apologize as to stand against the Oscars, and then he panders to his fans and apologizes. That's essentially what it seemed like.
Yeah.
Um,
It seemed like he made that video where he was saying he wasn't gonna apologize, and then it seemed like kind of his agents or his reps
sure.
contacted him were like, no, you need to apologize or whatever.
Yeah, like
Got
okay,
through
you're
to
not doing
him.
the Oscars, but we still want you to have a career and such.
Exactly, yeah. So,
So
and then he came out like you said. I believe it was like 2 hours later,
yeah,
something like that.
it didn't make much sense.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it'll be
yeah,
interesting to see who is hosting though.
that's true. And I mean, who is gonna host now? Like,
I don't know.
you gotta whoever it is must. Yeah, they can't have a Twitter. They can't
Pretty
do any
much.
stand-up comedy in the past. You know.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Who did I hear was they were talking about someone taking the job, and it was kind of like a joke. But now after this, it actually seemed like serious that this person would take on.
Oh yeah.
I'm forgetting off the top of my head here, but um, it was another kind of comedian. I think
Right.
kind of like Kevin Hart, so people were joking about it. But anyways, yeah. I mean, first reaction, I thought it was a good pick. I thought it would be
Yeah.
actually pretty interesting. And I mean, usually they're comedians, I guess, the hosts. And they obviously do some comedy throughout the show. It was Seth
Yeah.
Meyers who hosted it last year, was it not? Or was that the
Kimmel, Jimmy Kimmel.
that was the Golden Globes? Okay, Seth Meyers
Oh,
was
Seth Meyers.
was the
Right.
Golden Globes host last year. Okay, I knew one of them, but anyways, so yeah, I thought it was a great pick. And then this whole kind of thing happened within, it said less than 48 hours. The whole thing
Right.
kind of unraveled. And what I thought was interesting though is I think we talked about this before this episode, but talking about how didn't wouldn't the Academy Awards or the Academy have seen these tweets before they hired him and seen this situation and seen his past, because I mean, how would they not? They must be
Yeah.
pretty, either they didn't do the job or they're just they didn't care, I guess. But obviously they
Yeah.
did when it got blown out of proportion. But I don't know. And I think comparing to James Gunn, I think that's a similar situation that happened just kind of recently. But I don't know. I don't know. That's tough. I mean, James Gunn, I think his whole situation. I think people are saying that his kind of past actions were worse than Kevin Hart's, because Kevin Hart kind of had the comedy, like he was doing stand up comedy.
Yeah. Well, some of them were tweets, though. I think, but
Yeah, some of them are
there
tweets.
was.
Yeah.
I think it. I could be wrong, but I think it started with the tweets, and then
Mm,
these same people look back and end up looking at some of his stand-up routine.
yeah.
So I think but it was definitely a combination of both. Yeah, the James Gunn thing I think was just the tweets, and I
Yeah.
mean it's different. I mean it's a company wanting to move away from an individual opposed to
Yeah.
the Academy, which is not. It's not the same. It's not a movie studio. It's different, but in the same token, the Oscars is massive. Everybody knew about it. Not everybody knew. I mean, most people, but not everyone watches superhero movies and would even know who James Gunn is. Most
Yeah,
people who follow movies, TV, know who Kevin Hart is, regardless, if they've seen any
sure.
of his stuff.
Yeah,
So this was definitely on a higher scale.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well,
yeah, I
that's
mean,
what I would say. I mean, people are comparing the two, but I don't know. I think you can, but I think Kevin Hart's role, compared to James Gunn, is just way more significant. With him being a host of the Oscars, I don't know. Yeah, it's tough, but I think both situations ultimately are just kind of a mess.
yeah.
To be honest.